Hey everybody, I'm back. Lots has happened since I was last here. Okay, well, I don't even know where to start off with this one because some of you know what's going on in my life. If you're on my Facebook at least. I think I told a few people on Instagram. June 5th, my girlfriend and I decided to fly to Tampa, Florida to see Metallica. Yes, we got the Metallica red carpet rolled out for us from a very special friend in the Metallica family. And we could not refuse. Like, oh my God. So we decided to fly down. It's the 5th to Tampa. And we're at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. And I'm like, we're through security. I'm like, let's go get something to drink, or let's go hang out in a restaurant or something. It's a quick flight, 2.5 hour flight, I think, from Chicago to Florida, to Tampa, Florida. So as I'm walking through the airport with my carry-on, my nephew calls, right, from Tennessee. My nephew who lives with my father. And I'm like, uh-oh. Because just 4 days prior to that day, my dad had an operation. He had an AFib. His heartbeat was like off. You know, it wasn't beating the way it should be. And but it was a real simple procedure. They went through his leg. It wasn't a stint. Everyone's like, oh yeah, stint. I'm like, no, it wasn't a stint. It was weird. They went in through his leg. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I really don't know what to call it, but they were able to do something where it builds up the tissue in the parts of the heart so it'll pump more evenly. Anyway, the thing is, when I was down there and I took him to the VA hospital for his tests, they're like, hey, your dad's got this AFib, you know, his heartbeat, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God. And I go, is this possibly caused by stress? They're like, oh yeah. Very, very possible. I go, because his wife just passed away. My stepmother passed away almost 2 months prior. So my dad's wife died, and my dad was a wreck, you know, fell apart. They were married since, gosh, the mid-70s, you know. He divorced my mom when I was probably 2, and then ended up marrying my stepmom. But anyway, very long marriage. So, outpatient thing, he gets in and out. He's fine. Like, it really was a success. I don't know. So anyway, he gets out. He's on blood thinners. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so now it's like 4, maybe 5 days after the procedure. I'm walking through O'Hare Airport. My nephew calls. You know, like I said, my nephew he's 32 years old. He lives there on the property with my dad, with his girlfriend. So I look down, I go, oh, geez. So I answer, I'm like, hey, what's going on? He goes, I don't want to alarm you, but your dad's in an ambulance, and I'm following them to the hospital. He's going to be okay, though. He's got low blood pressure. So, yeah, he's got low blood pressure, but he's going to be fine. And I'm like, walking through the busy O'Hare Airport. It's crazy. I'm walking through there like, holy shit. So I'm talking to him. He goes, yeah, your dad's in an ambulance. I'm following there, though, and he's going to be okay. The EMTs said he's going to be fine. You know, that it's low blood pressure, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And my girlfriend's like, what's wrong? I'm like, it's okay. My dad's in an ambulance. I go, well, listen. I said, so I told my nephew, I said, it's a 2.5 hour flight, roughly. I said, as soon as I land, I'll call you, because I'll get to Tampa quick. He goes, okay. So I get to Tampa, call my nephew, and he goes, oh man, it's worse than they thought. They already resuscitated him one time, meaning his heart stopped. And I'm like, what? And to make a long story short, by the time I got in an Uber to the hotel, which is right near the airport in Tampa, my dad died. So that's what happened. He died, and the story gets crazier and crazier and crazier. So it's like, that happened. And then, so I was on the phone, and my girlfriend's looking at me in the room like, what's going on? I go, he didn't make it. My dad just died. And she's like, and my girlfriend just like fell apart. I'm like, it's okay. Just, she's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to Tennessee right now? Do you want to leave here and go there right now? Let's go. I go, no. Like, there's no reason to go to Tennessee. I said, I'm not going to sit in his house and just sit there and cry. Like, oh, well, they're both gone. Let's just sit here. I go, no, we're staying here. We're going to see Metallica and have a great weekend together. We're going to go have nice dinners. I go, my dad would absolutely want me to do that. So I said, no, we're staying here. And I really appreciated everything. She was, she was ready to drop it all. Like, let's go. I'm like, no reason to, we go and see Metallica, and it was an unbelievable show at Tampa. I don't know if you read reviews or heard stuff, but holy smokes. Every time I've seen them, it's always been an incredible concert. I've taken people to a Metallica show. I'm like, you're asking us to see one of the greatest shows you've ever seen in your life, And I've seen a million concerts and a million bands, and I'm just saying it's one hell of a show. Like, they still got it. So yeah, we saw the show. We were in the Snake Pit. We were gifted platform seats for one of the nights where we're up on one of the platforms, which is basically the stage was a circle, but it would be like sitting on the stage, at any other show. But we're on the platform overlooking the floor people, and it's like eye to eye with the band, and it was nuts. So anyway, I'm gonna play you guys some footage. I always say, like, when I go see them, like, I want to play some footage on the video for you of Metallica, because I record a lot of it. Not a lot. I'm not one of those people watching a concert through my phone. I'm 6'4", so I could sit there and I'll have my phone under my chin because I don't want to block other people's faces and shit. And I'll be recording in 4K on my iPhone. I'll be like this, recording in 4K. Sometimes I'll look down and make sure I'm on their face or whatever. So I got great footage of some Metallica for you. And so keep in mind, now I get home from Tampa, and I told my girlfriend, I said, okay, we get home Monday, we fly back to Chicago. Tuesday morning, I need to drive my ass to Tennessee, right? Because, for a couple reasons. One, I have to bury my father. And set up things with the VA, the VA hospital and the VA cemetery. And my dad never even told me his wishes, like what he wanted. So I said, well, I did hear him mention once he wouldn't mind me putting in the VA cemetery. So we went down there, talked to them, whatever. So anyway, as I'm going down there, I'm like, you gotta understand, my daughter's surgery is coming up, right? So the night before I leave to go to Tennessee, I stopped at her mother's house. I went to visit her because this crazy surgery is coming up for my daughter, right? And so she goes in the house. I'm sitting outside with her mother and her mother's boyfriend, right? And I'm just sitting out there talking with them. And she goes, I heard from the surgeon, one of the surgeons, and she's like a mess. I'm like, what did he say? Because we're not even sure what all this we had so many questions about the surgery. He goes, well, they told me that they want to take out, mind you, my dad just died, right? She goes, they want to remove a 2-inch by 2-inch by 1.5-inch piece of her brain. And I'm like looking at her, and I looked at her boyfriend. I'm like, what the? We're all cool, like it's anyway. And I'm like, are you sure? Was it centimeters? Was it millimeters? Because I don't know if I've said before on the, we're going to talk about masks. Don't worry. But you're here for Rudy's world. This is my world right now. So, she goes, no, it's inches. And back when we had the first meeting, they said, where it's at on her brain is where your vision is for the left side controls the right side. So it's right field vision, both eyes, from the left side of the brain where this benign mass grew. It's not a tumor, it's a mass. It could mess up her field of vision in both eyes on the right side. So she would really have to turn her head to get right side field of her vision. It's called there's a medical term for it. I can't even tell you right now. So, on top of the vision thing, now we're told this. And I looked at her mother, I go, and she goes, I don't know if I'm 100% feeling right about this. I go, no, we got to cancel the surgery. We got to cancel it. I go, there's this other thing out there called I can't remember anything right now because my mind's so crazy. Basically, they can put this computer chip on her skull that, battles these seizures she's having. She's been having seizures for 2 years, and that's why this is all happening, So, I'm like, let me look into it more. So now I get her charts and all the stuff from her mother. I've got, on my phone, this may sound crazy, but I've got the Grok AI. I pay for the top AI on my phone. Like, I pay for whatever per year, so I get the best, whatever, access to it. And, I don't know if any of you that haven't messed with AI, it is quite insane the answers you can get with medical questions, legal questions. Like, it's insane. And honestly, from what we were told by a couple phone calls versus standing in a room talking to surgeons for a half hour at one point months ago, I asked a question in this AI and I put in all of her important information. And within a millisecond, it goes, and it puts out like a 5-page answer of the most detailed shit I could imagine, right? And I'm reading this, and I'm reading about all these cases on other children at her age. She's 14. So I told her, Mom, I go, we should really look into this other thing, And so I go, I'm going to Tennessee tomorrow. We should really consider this. Because like I've said on this channel before, anytime there's a little voice inside your mind telling you something, your conscience or whatever you want to call it, it's not going to lie to you. Like, if you don't think something's right, you should probably go with your gut instinct. And with all the little information we had, we were both like, I don't know about this. It's terrifying. I said, once you do that, there's no going back. There's no, if they come out with better medicine in 2 years, if they say, oh, God, there's this whole new thing we came up with, it was too late. They already took that out. And I took a piece of foam, and I cut out a 2-inch by 2-inch by 1.5-inch of foam, and I was sitting there in my kitchen staring at it the night before I left. And I'm like, what the fuck, right? So I leave for Tennessee. I get there, go to bed, wake up, going through my dad's filing cabinets, to the news that one of my best friends just dies unexpectedly, 50 years old. I'm like, oh my God. On top of everything else, my friend that owns a coin shop, I would do tons of business with him. I would be there every day. Every day I'd stop in there. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for a bunch of comments. I'm just telling you what's been happening, okay? I appreciate good words from you guys and all that, of course, but I'm not doing this for that reason. I'm just telling you how insane stuff has been lately. So he dies, and I'm like, holy fuck. So now on a good note, my daughter's mother calls me and she goes, listen, they still have the surgery scheduled for Tuesday. So today is Saturday, the 21st. Whatever Tuesday was supposed to be her surgery, right? So say like 3 days before that, she goes, listen, I was driving to Tennessee, and her boyfriend called me on a 40-minute call. She goes, listen, that surgeon just talked to us for over an hour, told us things he wasn't supposed to, because I'm not supposed to say this stuff, but I know you guys are really losing your minds over this. He goes, so I want to put your minds kind of to rest a little bit, and explain how your brain is packed in there. Like, it's not, a 2 inch by 2 inch by 1.5 inch. He goes, you can't focus on that. He goes, that sounds crazy to someone that doesn't understand the brain and brain surgery and whatever. And, it's so packed in there that is, it is what it is, but it's not this crazy, crazy, crazy thing. He goes, just don't focus on that. Explained a lot of stuff, and explained how the computer chip idea that I was pushing for so badly was not going to do it. It was not going to cure her of the seizures. And where the mass was, they really want to take out that portion where the seizures are. They all start from this area and two little parts of her brain, So after everything they told me, I go, you know what? I feel a lot better about this. And she wants, my daughter wants this bad. At first she goes, I don't want no other thing. I want the surgery right now. Or like, holy shit. This young girl is so determined and so strong. So, to make a long story short, we had scheduled the surgery the night before I'm going down to Indianapolis. They canceled it. I'm like, why? Now I'm like, why? And it's because 2 people on the surgical team could not be there, and they weren't replacing them with other people, blah, 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 blah. So now it's going to happen in 5 days. So I got that coming up in 5 days, right? On top of it, shit is going crazy down at my dad's house in Tennessee with my nephew. I know firsthand, I deal with people with divorces and deaths when they come to me with estates, with vintage jewelry or coin collections and antiques and stuff. And all the brothers and sisters start fighting, and, if Billy's there, and Billy's 60 years old now, and says, I collected those baseball cards with Dad, you guys didn't like them, could I please have the baseball cards? Nope, F you, Billy, we're all selling everything and we want the money. It gets brutal. Now, my own nephew, he's a nephew to me, is acting a little crazy. And I'm just like, hold on, these fucking e-bears. These zero feedback fucking bidders that pop up. So that's a whole other conversation for another day, because shit's getting crazy. I'm like, I don't need this on top of all this other stuff. Thank you for listening to my little life talk here about Rudy's world, my world, what's going on. Now we're going to talk about masks. Yes. Am I even capable of that? Yeah. And the funny thing is, I'm going down to make my dad's burial arrangements, and a friend of mine sends me a freaking link to a pinball machine for sale. It's a Centaur, which is a badass machine, 1981. It came out right after Medusa. Medusa and Centaur were Bally's like fantasy monster machines for 81. They came out one after the other. So I text, I go, dude, my dad just died. I'm going to Jasper, Tennessee, which is outside of Chattanooga. I gotta go bury my father. I got so much going on. I go, oh, and it's in Chattanooga. He goes, yeah, that's why I'm telling you. I'm like, well, my dad would want me to go buy that Centaur pinball machine, and I did, and it's right in the other room now. So we'll do a pinball update later. So, do you guys remember? Of course, we didn't do the Carol Hicks video yet, Carlos. Carol Hicks did an amazing Vampira sculpture many years ago, and I had 2 copies. I have 2 copies of this Vampira here, right? And they're really cool, but over the years, no one ever could get the hair right, or the makeup, or the paint jobs. They would look cool, but then they just put this like straight hair on her, where she looked like Cher instead of Vampira, and it never made you go, that's a great Vampira. You go, oh, that's cool, that's cool. There's not many Vampiras, that one's cool. But now, holy smokes, let me get the other one I've got, because I want you to see, I want you to understand what's going on here. Like I said, I got 2 copies, right? And this copy here was done up by David Lady for Frank, for the Frankenstein, right? In this cool, greenish, bizarre color scheme, like she's dead. And I love it, right? Creepy. So, I'm going to show you photos of the other one. And we've talked about these a long time ago on the channel. If you remember, the other one was flesh-colored, long black straight hair, and actually had Doyle of the Misfits sign it. He signed it. I was talking to him one day, and I go, hey, sign this. And he looked at it like what is it? I go, just sign it. It's Vampire. So he signed it. But it just never looked great. And now, I think it was an old John Thomas piece, and now the paint is turning colors, and it's not the great patina you would want. And I saw pictures of one last year that someone rehauled, and I go, holy shit, look at that. And that someone is Mr. Jason Adcock from Los Angeles, LA, or Beverly Hills. No, LA or Hollywood. I think he's from LA. So I reached out to Jason well over a year ago, and I'm like, dude, I saw what you did on that Vampira, that Carol Hicks. It was a Carol Hicks Vampira. And Jason, let's just say he is really good with makeup and hair. Like, I think he does it professionally. When my girlfriend saw the results, she goes, does he do this for humans? She's like, I would love to get my makeup and hair done by Jason. I go, yeah, like, it's crazy what he can do. So I reached out to him, and then I just dropped the ball for months and months. Like a year goes by. I messaged him. I go, hey, man, remember me? We were talking about getting my Vampira done. I sent it to him, and within like 4 days or 5, like he had it done. And he goes, here's some photos of it. And I go, holy shit, dude. I said, like, OMG. I go, my God, Jason, you nailed it. So I'm going to go get her. She's on one of the pinball machines. And I'm going to show you photos that he sent me too after I present her to you. Here's the before photos of what she looked like. You know, cool, but it's not quite Vampira, right? So hold on. You got to see this, because I just sent Jason more work. Ooh, yeah. Oh my God. Look at that, guys. Now that's Vampira, right? Oh my God, look at the difference. Huh? So Jason, obviously, like I was saying, does hair and makeup. I think he's a makeup artist. I'm sorry, Jason, if I am not getting your credentials down correctly right now. Let's just say the boy's got talent, a lot of it. And, you know, I just told him, I said, dude, from what I've seen of his work, I said, run with it. Do what you want. I said, all I ask is you don't go over Doyle's signature. That's all I said. I go, have at it, dude. And I'm gonna get a little needle and like fix those little strands. I'll cut them off and remove them surgically. Jason's probably like, don't do that. But isn't that crazy, guys? Like, that is freaking cool. When he sent me the photos, here's the photos Jason sent me. I was like, holy shit. So needless to say, I am a fan. Mummy, beat it, punk. Pretty cool, eh? So, pretty damn cool, huh? Yeah, we gotta. So, guys, Jason will put his info on the screen. Jason not only does great work, not only does he do it in a very timely manner, but he's also very reasonable. Okay? Damn, Jason, I don't want to fuck up his hair. Anyway, what do you guys think? Huh? Pretty sweet, huh? What I really want now, is a freaking life-size vampire. Would be pretty badass. When hairs get out of place, it fucking drives me insane. Obviously. Stop touching it, Jaya. Stop. So, Jason, you blew me away, brother. Jason, you blew my mind here, dude. He styled the wig, and it's just, I don't know how you can do that shit. I don't fucking know nothing. So, needless to say, I'm probably gonna send Jason this one. If I could somehow get the clear coat off her eyeballs that turn brown. It just, whatever they were using back in the day, a lot of these guys, it just turns brown, and it's tough to get off. I tried picking it with a razor. I'm gonna try like coats of, what's that clear shit? Acetone or something. I'm also sending him other work. Like I said, I just sent Jason my Matt. What's Matt's last name? You guys know my friend Matt. I just don't know my friend Matt's last name because my mind is toast. What's Matt's name? Matt McNeil. You guys know good old Matt McNeil, right? Well, good old Matt McNeil did some good old pieces from a good old... Why does the iPhone now do so many screenshots just when you're trying to close it? And it just takes screenshots. Like, I don't want to do screenshots. Matt McNeil did the amazing Fright Night sculpts, right? So this whole time, I've had my Evil Ed and my Amy painted up and ready to go with no hair. So I reached out to Jason. I go, dude, I've got these two pieces. I sent him pictures. I'll show you pictures while we're talking. I go, I've got the Amy and the Evil Ed, both beautifully painted, but they need hair. I said, actually, I want you to add some paint details to Amy because she needs a little more eyeshadow, and her teeth look fake. I want the teeth to look yellowed, like, I want the teeth to look more realistic. So I got them boxed up upstairs, and I'm sending both of them to Jason, and I really want to see what he can do with them. And I said, what I didn't want is Evil Ed to come back with a fake Schwarzenegger Commando toupee looking thing on his head, like the spiky hair was glued on, and he had this, after the beautiful paintwork that was done by, oh God, what's his name? He painted that eyeball. That eyeball is paint. Both eyes, but oh God, what's his name? I'll put his name on the screen. After having someone do paintwork like that, you don't want to just get the dumbest hair possible. No. So that's one reason they were never finished. So they're going out to him. Eventually, I'm going to send her to Jason. And I have a second Elvira, a real deal vintage Elvira, that needs to be done up. Needs some makeup and hair, and I think Jason is my man. So I ran it by him, and I want to see if he can do up an Elvira for me. I think that'd be pretty bitchin', huh? All right, so what else? You guys have been putting up with me babbling on here and talking a lot, so I need to show you something else because you wait a long time for this content. And obviously I'm sorry about all that, but what could I do? You know, my dad died. All sorts of crazy shit's going down. But I'm taking the time out to do what I can to get you a video while in between the chaos, right? Okay, hang on. Hang tight.
Oopsie daisy. Crooked it is.
Yes, sir. Mr. Cole's Grave Robbers Union in the house. Remember, Mr. Cole's Grave Robbers Union, now I remember his name, right? Did the Blob victims of the Blob. Do you remember? I said, dude, you did the husband, you did the wife. You gotta do the kids. You gotta make the kids. I want to buy the whole family. Right? And Mr. Cole's Grave Robbers Union did just that. He goes, I did the kids, and I got the first one coming to you. I'm like, holy shit. So, in the middle of all the chaos, I did get a nice little surprise. My buddy from Mr. Cole's Grave Robbers Union sent me the children. And here we go. We got the whole family now. Victims of the Blob. The whole family. Let's prop up do a little prop here, because it's kind of like, it needs to be propped up a bit. Yeah. So I think the family is now complete. And we will show you what's going on here with the kids. And the cool thing is, he made them one piece. So let's take a closer look. Little Bobby here. Little Bobby has a problem. Okay. The Blob came in from both sides. I wonder if, so you got to study his pieces, because he'll go through and explain like this is doing that. And her hand, she put her hand up to her face, but then the arm fell off. He'll tell you the whole thing, right? But here, I was so busy, I didn't get to talk to him about little details like in his mouth. We didn't get to talk details much. So I'm guessing little Susie, the sister here, could have grabbed Bobby from behind, like, Bobby, oh, Bobby, and her little hands go on his face. But then she just starts ripping his face in half as the Blob pulls her hands. Unless it's just the Blob pulling Bobby's face apart. Look at that. Nice split. Nice work there. I like that. A little blood from the nose, but most of all, his face is splitting in half. Very, very cool. That's definitely not a hand. I mean, it looks like the Blob, but it looks like little fingers from the front, obviously. I think that's his sister. Maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. It's my interpretation of the chaos going on in this sculpture. And as I've mentioned before on his pieces, he likes to show you, he'll point out, like, listen, the Blob is sucking the life out of the person and sucks the pigment out of their skin as they're dying. And look at little Susie here. Her pigment is completely gone. You see a lot of her bone structure coming through because her face is literally getting sucked through into her brothers. The Blob is taking both of their faces, pulling their eyeballs inward, both of them. He's like, oh, I still see you. She's like, I see you too. And, we're dying. So, pretty cool, huh? It's got little kids' clothing on them, and her nice teeth and jaw are, getting ripped apart. But cool. Very cool. And I love it. I'm glad, Mr. Cole, that you completed the family. We're going to turn around. The back,
little toned down, mostly Blob action. And he had to attach the hat and clothing somehow, and you don't, all the action is mostly in the front with this sculpture, and there's a lot to it, a lot going on. I love, you can't see underneath the hat, but I love how there's just a little bit of hair and the rest is gone, and you got the gooey stuff just like the others. So good job, dude. I got the whole family, I believe. I think these are all the first pulls. This was at Mask Fest. I think this is the first one. I have to really see if he wrote that in there, but I think this is still my favorite. Still my favorite with all this craziness going on, the gelatinous goo. He looks like shit. I love this lip. Love it, dude. But, I mean, does that look like a family? Yeah, it does. It looks like a family. It's got their little, their very existence being ripped apart. Ripped out of their souls are being ripped out. Their faces are being ripped out. All thanks to the Blob. Yes. All right. Pretty badass, huh? That was a nice little surprise during the chaos I'm dealing with. You know, like, hey, on your porch tomorrow, you're going to have the Blob kids. So thank you, Mr. Cole. All right, let's take a pause. Guys, I got another Distortions mask now, okay?
This will be my third copy of this mask. It's a Resurrection mask, but to me it's the best Distortions Resurrection of all those Resurrection masks. That came out around 2012, 2013, I think, something like that. This is number 13 out of 24. Jordu Shell sculpted this bad boy. My dumbass years ago saw like, oh my god, they're selling for $600. I'm gonna sell mine because I only paid $200 for it or whatever. Sold it, and I'm like, why did I do that? Because it's incredible. Finally, I replaced it about a year ago with a copy where the nose had messed up paint or something like that. So I ended up selling it as is, and someone bought it. But now I got one that's here to stay. Another snow beast. Yes, sir. And this one is gorgeous. These all, I think everyone I've ever seen is pretty nice, with the exception of the last one with the little nose issue. But what a sculpture by Jordu. And the paint, like the paint and hair work and the colors, they knocked it out of the park with this one. And I don't remember all of the Resurrections. I don't remember others jumping out at me quite like this one did. And I think a lot of you need to understand, though, my past growing up as a kid, masks with hair and beast masks with hair and blood and big teeth always scared the crap out of me. Like when my stepdad wore the Be Something Studio Evil Unicorn when I was a kid, he'd put that mask on. My stepdad, he was a big guy, he'd put that mask on, and my brother and I, my little brother, we're like, ah! Like he was actually a monster, like, oh no, don't grab me, He turned into a freaking monster when he put the mask on. So masks like that are always, I got a soft spot for them, because as a kid, I'd look at stuff like this up on the wall of the costume shop, like, look how terrifying that looks. And it's got real hair and, big teeth. So this type of mask, to me, is amazing. And I've got a real snow beast. I should say real, but I have the original. Yes, we're going to go get it off the shelf. Hold on. All right. Fancy mask stand. My girlfriend was over here. I go, we need to film a video where you're on the show. And she's like, yeah. I go, yeah. We're just going to talk about Matt, because she loves all this. She loves it all. She loves everything horror. And this is no ordinary girlfriend, guys. This is a girl This is a woman who I've known. I've known her for 24 years, probably, maybe longer. And, all I'm saying is this isn't your average girlfriend. And I don't know. Things are looking pretty amazing. I think she's a keeper. I know she's a keeper. So anyway, I'm going to bring her on the show soon. We'll probably do an episode. She's loads of fun. You will meet her in time. But the funny thing is, I go, listen. I go, if we ever get married someday, and I go, if we ever get married, I don't want you to think I'm gonna want to run off with my buddies and go to Vegas for a bachelor party. I go, that, I'm not gonna need that, and I just want you to know that I don't want you worrying like I'm gonna run off, to a bachelor party with a bunch of hookers or. And she looked at me and said, your whole life's been a bachelor party. I go, yes, it has. So yeah, look at this baby. Isn't that an amazing piece? We'll bring out the real one. So check this out. And yes, this is the vintage Snow Beast. And this is dated 1981 on the back. A lot of guys, this was Frank's, okay? A lot of guys are after this copy. They're like, sell it to me, please, please. My one friend goes, I have a mint copy. It's foam filled. It was like he goes, oh, it's the best one ever made. Some of yours, you could have mine. I'm like, no. There's a reason you want mine so bad. Because mine looks different than all the rest. And I don't know. At first I thought it was a prototype or something. But if you remember the stories with Frank, he always got special copies, custom copies. Ed, he could have said, Ed, I want this one to be different than all the other ones. So Ed made Frank's different than all the other ones, So it's got that dark bluish skin tone. It's just a phenomenal vintage Snow Beast that a lot of them don't look like that. So having both of these in the collection now is so cool that I finally got a replacement, and I'm not getting rid of it. It was foolish to do that. And now I have copy number 13, so that's even cooler. And I think I'll foam fill him soon. Like, why not? Because he's not leaving this room. There'll be a mask sale coming up soon. I'm going to sell some pieces to make some room because it is still chaos down here. But is there one more thing I could show you? Because you guys have been so patient with my life being just completely upside down lately. And that being said, I'm okay. Like, I've had my moments, but, it is what it is. And seeing how strong my daughter is, makes me stronger. I'm like, look at this 14-year-old girl who is going after this surgery like a badass, I'm like, phew. Then Father's Day was coming up, and I was like, oh my God, it's Father's Day. My dad just died. And I had never thought of that stuff, like, oh, I'm going to be sad. And I'm like, no, I was sad. But then my daughter sends me the most amazing text messages in the middle of the night. After it turned Father's Day, she sent me these amazing messages and just made me melt. I'm like, this kid, she's amazing. So, and all of that being said, I tell you younger people out there, you younger crowd out there, even you older crowd that are still not super old, but my age or whatever, for sure, as the older you get, things change. Life changes fast. Everyone around you starts dying. First you'll notice, like, man, all my favorite celebrities and musicians are starting to die. And then it becomes family members. Like, oh my God, where are they all going? And it's a weird feeling. So you out there, you younger people, know that it does happen. That's part of life. But that should stop you from right now going to spend more time with your family, you know, and your friends. Not just your family, but your friends. Don't let dumb stuff, you know, stop you from, if you're fighting with your mom or your dad or your brother or your cousin, you know, or your friend over something stupid. Life can be taken quickly. It can be taken unexpectedly. Don't go through life kicking yourself like, oh my God, why did I not say I was sorry? I was going to do it next week, you know. And that's not what's going on with me. I did not have a fight with my dad or my friend or, you know. But I'm just saying, like, life is too short. Life is not guaranteed. And especially these days, you know. And all the things, like I've given you advice. It's not like my advice can be all over the place. But if I can give you a really solid piece of advice right now, after, you know, you guys, one thing I would like to stress the most is, and this may sound generic and like silly, but treat people with kindness. And I'm not saying that be like, oh, treat them how you want to be treated. No. Just, and this is something like you're gonna go, yeah, no shit. Treat people with kindness or be nice to people. I'm just talking random strangers, even people or friends, you know, you got. And this is one thing I've taught myself in life. Of course, I have many life lessons from my mom and my dad, you know, even friends, but even my own daughter has taught me things, you know. But the experiences I've dealt with in my own life, you know, I've had horrible shit done to me where I don't even want to talk about on this channel, where people were so evil, you know, so evil to you where you're losing your fucking mind. You know, it could be that bad. How nuts people can be. Like, there's nut jobs out there that will want to try to ruin your life, try to ruin your relationship with your own child. And the stuff I've put up with, the stuff I've went through in life, where you are at your wit's end and you are just ready to snap and lose it and fall to pieces, mentally crumble. I've been there. I think a lot of people have. And that is one thing I always wanted to tell you guys out there that watch the channel and you're younger. Just be nice to people out there. Yeah, a lot of people are not nice. It's like, fuck them. But a lot of people aren't nice. I'm just saying, in general, the lesson here is you don't know what that stranger is dealing with in life that you're interacting with. You know, you have no idea. And this happened recently. It put something in my mind to say this on the channel because my own mother, she goes, oh gosh, you know, we have this favorite restaurant my friend owns. And she's like, God, that poor server there, I was talking to him. I know who she was talking about. And you wouldn't know it. She goes, but he's dealing with stuff where the mother of the child is being so freaking evil and using the kid as a pawn or a tool to act like you're never seeing your kid again, shit like that. And this guy's got to go and put a smile on and deal with people's meals and taking your order. And inside, the guy is ready to collapse and just thinking he's, you know, never going to see his child again. Just shit like that. Stuff like that. It's like, you don't know what the average person is dealing with. And once you've dealt with some stuff in your life where you're like, holy cow, how did I get through it? How did I get through that? And once you do deal with that stuff on your own, it makes you think, like, you look around like everybody is going through something, or they've been through something, or they've lost their parent or their best friend or their wife or their son. Their kids could have, you know, you just never know what people are dealing with. And so just be nice to people, you know? And it's funny because, you little fucker, I can be very not nice to people on this channel, but they deserve it at times, you know? And a lot of it's fun. A lot of it's being fun. I like to joke around, but I don't go out of my way to be a jerk to people. If people need to be dealt with on the channel, like scammers and people that are just attacking me for no reason, then of course I want to mess with them right back. But, you know, you never know what people are going through. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind next time you're ready to rip in your waiter because something's just not cooked right, or it's a little, and you're just going to be a total dick to them. Is it really worth it? I mean, if it's a $75 steak, yeah. But, you see what I'm saying? All right, that's a little lesson I wanted to tie into tonight's episode. Because this episode, it's got a lot of sadness, a lot of sad stuff I've told you about. There's greener pastures ahead, you know, regarding my daughter's situation. It's funny, all this crazy stuff in life that I'm dealing with, I'm finally with the love of my life and happy. And I never thought I would be with her. Mind you, I've known her for a long time. Never thought it would happen, and it's happening. So, it's crazy that in the midst of all the chaos and sadness and heartbreak, there's still good stuff going, and still good, someone amazing, you know, at my side, helping me through it. Anyway, and there's more good stuff coming. Yes, those of you that love Metallica, I'm going to play some for you right now. On this episode, I recorded some cool shit. We were right there in the snake pit, and what a weekend! What a weekend! I'm not, and a lot of these. It's funny. A lot of people out there like it's always cool to be on the I hate Metallica bandwagon. I think that stuff maybe is toned down a little bit, especially with Ghost taking their place. People hating on a band. Ghost just turned, oh God. You gotta understand, I've been listening to Metallica since 83, 84. I'm not gonna just start hating them, especially with all the great concerts I've seen. God, I've seen them dozens and dozens and dozens of times over the years. So yeah, I'm not one to hate on Metallica just because they've gotten older and they maybe cut their hair years ago and they changed the sound to this or that. Like, no, they're still incredible at what they do. And every arena show I've been to, and it's insane how many people are showing up to see them play still. And they are still unfreaking believable. So now, I'm going to close this out. If you hate Metallica, shut it off. But if you love them, here you go. Good night.